Ms. Jones here again. We are diving further and deeper into place value. My last video, we talked about the value of digits. And now today we're going to talk about all of the different ways that numbers can actually be represented. The 4 ways we're going to talk about today are ways that you learned about in 2nd grade and probably 1st grade too. So these 4 ways are going to act as a review. And then you'll notice I have a 5th box down here. We're going to be tackling this tomorrow, and this is going to be brand new to 3rd grade. So like I said, these 4 quadrants should be a review for you. You should not be learning this for the first time. This is all a review, and tomorrow we're going to get down here to something brand new that's new for 3rd grade. Okay, so the first thing we're talking about is how to represent a number when I say we're going to represent a number in standard form. And I wrote down here, standard form is just the digits, like we talked about in the last video, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are the digits, and you can combine and add those digits all together to make numbers. And so standard form is just the digits, and it's written kind of like your phone number. So for example, the standard form that we're going to be using for this whole chart, we're going to be using the number, let's do this one. So that number that I just wrote down, those are 4 separate digits, 1, 5, 6, 2. Those are 4 digits, and I wrote them down, and it's just the numbers. So that's easy enough. That's just standard form. The numbers are there. And if you wanted to get really technical with it, which I do in 3rd grade, I want you to be able to show your work all the time. So anytime you see a number that's written just like this, just the digits, what I expect from you is I expect you to insert these blanks under the digits. And from there, you're going to determine what these digits, their value is. So we know we always start to the far right, and we know that 2 is actually a 2 in the ones place. So its value is simply 2 ones. Like here's 1, 1, this value would be 2 ones. We know this 6 is in the tens place. So its value is not 6. Its value is 60, which would be like 6 of these tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Then we have this 5 in the hundreds place, which would be like having 5 flats, little flat ones. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So the value of this 5 is actually 5 hundreds. And then we have this 1 in the thousands place, and I like to do a capital T, lowercase h for my thousands place, and that's actually 1 of these thousands blocks. So this 1 here in the thousands place is not worth 1, it's not worth 10, it's not worth 100, it's worth 1,000. So that's standard form. Standard form is just the digits written down, but for you, when you start showing work, I want you to put these blanks there and label them. Let's move on to the second way you can represent a number, because standard form is the first, just the digits. The second way you can represent a number is in word form. And I wrote here, word form is just when you say the number in words, like you're talking. So if I were going to say these digits, I would say 1562. But if I were going to say this number in word form, I would say 1562. So I'm going to write that, and you're going to have to give me just a second. I'm going to write kind of fast, so it might be a little sloppy. But you would say 1,562. Notice I wrote even the numbers in words. So even though this says 2, you should write TWO, not a letter or a number 2 like you have here in standard form. Word form is you have to write every number in words. So this number 1562 can also be represented in word form as 1,562. 62. And so that's what word form is. So those ways are pretty easy. Spelling can be a little confusing, but if you just say it slow and write what you hear or type what you hear, you should be pretty close. So don't let spelling really get you all caught up. The next thing we're going to talk about is pictorial form. And I want you to pay close attention. Let me see if you see this. To the word, the first three letters, P-I-C. So it's like saying pick. So pictorial form is actually picture form. So that's you draw with symbols to represent the number. So when I say draw with symbols, I mean symbols that kind of mimic these place value blocks that you had when you were here at Jane Long. So what I like to use is I use a little dot for a 1. I like to use a stick for a 10 or a rod. For 100, I like to use a square. And then for 1,000, some teachers like to try to draw a 3D 1,000, and I'm going to kind of do that myself. But some teachers also like if you just draw a square like you did here, and on the inside you would write TH on the inside. But I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to draw a square. It's going to go up, and it's going to be a 3-dimensional square. And on the inside, I'm going to put TH in there, just like that. So when I wanted to draw a picture form of 1562 or 1562, I'm going to look up here at my standard form with all these little labels here. And I see, I'm going to start in the ones place, and I see I have 2 1s. So I have 2 of these in that number. So I would do 2 dots. Then I have 6 10s, which I know the 10s are the rods. So I would do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Then I would do 500s, which I know are the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would do 1,000 block. So now my picture, I have 1,000s block, or this guy. I have 500s, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 10s, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And I have 2 1s, which now pictorial is going to lead us to our next type of ways that we can represent numbers, and that's expanded form. This should also be a review from 2nd grade. So if this is confusing to you, please let me know or have your parent email me so that we can do a little bit of extra practice. But all expanded form is when you stretch the number by the values of the digits to add them in any order. It's so important that you remember that this can be done in any order. It doesn't have to be the biggest one first or the smallest one first. It can be in any order here. So again, it's when you stretch the number by the values of the digits. So you need to take the digit 1, the digit 5, the digit 6, the digit 2, find out what those values are, and you're going to add them together in any order. So remember, you're stretching it by place value, and you should have lots of little addition symbols, the crosses. So let's start with the thousands place. I know I have 1 in the thousands place, and I also have that shown here in my picture form. So the way I would write that is just 1,000. So now my thousands is taken care of, and you could even have this little line here like that. So I know I covered my thousands. I'm going to put a plus sign here. And next, I'm going to move on to my hundreds, but I can't put plus 5 here because this value is not worth 5. It's in the hundreds place, so its value is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So here I would write plus 500. Next, I have the tens place, and in the tens place, I have a 6, but the value of that 6 is not 6 ones. It's actually down here. It's 60. I have 6 tens. I have 6 of these. And if you go through and count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you see there's 10 in here. So I actually have 6 tens, which has a value of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So I'm done with the tens. Now I've got to move on to the ones place. Now I have a 2 there. And the ones is easy because that's what it's worth. It's worth 2. Now remember, this in expanded form can be in any order. So I have it here by place value, but it could be 60 plus 500 plus 2 plus 1,000. It could be in any order. So just remember that. So here are the 4 ways you can represent a number that should be a review for you from 2nd grade. Tomorrow, we're going to fill in this last part, and it's going to be something brand new. All right, thanks for listening.